We even have to make that. Don't do that to my baby.
Be quiet.
Okay, here we got some basketball stats from some guy played for Cleveland in Miami, then back to Cleveland. Not sure who it was, but how easy it is to look at this and get useful information out of it. So if I ask you, how has his shooting percentage increased over the years from the three-point line? Is that an easy thing to grab from this? So today, what we're gonna do is learn how to put it into a chart and see what kind of relationships we can grab from it, okay? Before we do that, what we're gonna have to do is review some information. You guys remember plotting points? Plotting points, ordered pairs. If I give you -3, 2, how are you gonna plot that? Start with -3, start at the origin, move 3 to the left since it is a negative number, then you get the second number in the ordered pair, 2 positive goes up, and that's where you're gonna plot your point. Everyone remembers that, right? Yep. Okay. 4, -2.5, same thing. You start on the x-axis, move to the right 4 since it's positive. It's a negative for the next number, so move down -2.5. That's how we're gonna plot our points. Here, once we have our points plotted, we're gonna have to be able to find a slope. How do we find our slope?
Y equals.
Call that rise over run, correct? So y is the up down axis, so you find the difference in the 2 points over run, that's the x-axis. Once you find the difference, we end up with a slope of 2. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We find the difference and compute our ratio. Is there any confusion on how do we find our slope? Once we found our slope, now we can write our formula for the point slope form. So we start off with y minus y1 equals m, which is the slope we just figured, over our times x minus x1. Once we plug in our points, we get it to y minus 2 equals 2x minus 8. We want to get y by itself, so we subtract 2 from both sides, or add 2 to both sides, giving us 2x minus 6 is equal to y. So that's when we ask you to write a point or in slope intercept form, that's what you're going to do, okay? You remember that from earlier in the year? Kind of, sort of? Yeah. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about how to graph. So we're going to make a scatter plot. All a scatter plot is we're going to have sets of data. Say price of gasoline by the year. So at the average price this year, we'll say is $2.20 a gallon. So then we have our year, and then we go to the price, and we make that point. And we get all of our points, put it on the plot. Okay. Go ahead and pull out your journals to page 185, and we're going to work with partners number 5.
Oh, here it is. Isabel. Someone say my name. Isabel.
It's girls.
185. Activities 1 through 3. What's that? So how many inches does each block width? That's your scale. So what's our large scale? What is that? Yeah, all these points we grab here. This is where we do what? That's mine. Make a scale and then just grab the points. All the grab
In general, you think you can describe this way, if it's positive or negative. Positive or negative. Bowling ball is the weight of 225 ounces and circumference of 27 inches. Describe the location of the shape that represents the static point. How does this point compare to Because 225 would be all the way up here. Like, the weight, yeah, the weight would be all the way over here. Right. Okay, 0. Do number 2.
Abby yesterday.
What? Did you know? Any questions? How do we get a nap? How do we get a nap? No. That's fine. First, that's why they Because yours are this. That's the one I was There was this, and then she said, but there was this guy, so I fell asleep on the way back. He started following my mom, like 3/4 of the way home, and then we stopped at a to get stuff in his house. Oh, they're not from Missouri. He followed us from Missouri all the way to Omaha because he lives in the Lincoln area. What happened? We were right here. I think we were right here.
You want us to do number two?
Yes.
Okay.
Why don't we get that?
They're not getting that time. I did not write that. This is too.
Oh, who did?
If I wrote that, it said, daily meetings.
Here.
Keep on working, Gary. What are you gonna do?
I know why. Bailey.
Why don't you understand this?
Because it's confusing.
I don't see your staff time, but that's it. It looks like you're. Break time. All right, now break time. Yeah, the letters are too spaced out. I would have put my M and I don't. That's right.
So,
And we don't read the chapter six. I don't go. Okay. Figure out absences 0.95.
So, they were born in February. He was born in March. That's all he was doing. Now, what's the next year?
Dude, anybody who had 10 absences is waiting. The value of laptop computers in 7th stage was honestly over in the laptop experience. You have to push your
Okay, so the more absences you have, the worse your final grade will be.
Let's go ahead and go back to our seats, please. Go back to our seats. What? I know you do.
I don't.
Okay, let's go ahead, take a break, go to the bathroom, get a drink. Quietly, please.
See it after you finish the background.
I know exactly what you would do.
Why do you keep standing in front of the camera? Yeah, you were like literally just like keep doing this in front of the camera. Like this. Cause you were in here.
Wow. I don't care how chill it is. Have still be day shots like that. Couple weeks, that's kind of long.
See how skill I am, how you feel.
I don't know. Maybe the second model. One of the two falls asleep.
The distraction ball.
Oh my gosh, no. That's great.
I was just making on that.
Yeah, I know why.
Because he has to record the calls.
I literally just pointed at him. I was like, what is this? Yes, he said I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, in your activities, you created a couple scatter plots, right? And it asked you to make your own scale, right? All it's asking you to do is determine what each one of these boxes is going to be equal to. So you can get all your points plotted. So here we have a scatter plot, and it takes the number of calories in 12 restaurant sandwiches and compares it to the fat grams. So grams is on the bottom, the calories on the side. So if we want to know how many calories are in the sandwich that contains 17 grams of fat, we will go down, find the 17, we approximate, and we go up. So how many calories are we going to see here? 400 calories for a 17-gram fat sandwich. Same thing. So now if we want to know how many grams of fat are in a sandwich that contains 600, we're going to go up to 600, go over till we find our point, and drop down. And so how many fat calories are in a 600 calorie sandwich? So you get 30 grams of fat. So now it's going to ask us, what happens to the number of calories as the number of grams of fat increases? So as the fat goes up, what do the calories do?
They
Goes
go
up.
as well.
So what if a sandwich has 650 calories? How many grams of fat do you expect it to have? Grace, where do you want me to start at? If we're looking at 650 calories to 650, go over, is this where you want me to stop at? Is that where we find our dot? So we go down, so how much? 33 or 34 grams of fat for a 650 calorie sandwich. That's all they're asking you to do. Here we're going to talk about relationships on our plots. What do we mean when we say linear? Straight line. So if we talk about a positive linear, what do you think we mean when we say positive? It goes up. So our slope, that's what it's referring to. So if we take a look at this, it goes in a straight line and it goes up. Negative relationship, linear relationship, is going to be straight line going down. So if it's non-linear, what are we referring to there? No. Well, it's not a straight line, but is this a straight line? No. There's no relationship there. There still needs to be a relationship, but it's not necessarily gonna go in a straight line. So all this means is, as X increases, Y is going to increase at a faster pace. I think we covered that a couple chapters ago, didn't we? Okay. So if there's no relationship, it's just gonna look like a shotgun blast. Okay? Okay, A is a scatter plot and it's television size versus price. So what kind of relationship are we seeing here? If you make a generally straight line through the points, we're not gonna connect the dots, we're just gonna approximate how those points. So it's what kind of relationship? A positive linear relationship.
Well, maybe, what about that dot that's?
Okay, I'm glad you brought up that dot. We call that an outlier. It's kind of off by itself, but we still have a relationship here. Just that this one, for some reason, doesn't follow that pattern, okay? So what kind of relationship are we seeing here for the age and pet zone?
No relationship.
No relationship. Okay, I think it asked us to do this, right? In our activities. So we need to label our graph, make a scale for it. So where are we gonna put our time at?
On the bottom.
Okay, because it tells us that. Anytime you have time, we wanna put it on our x-axis. Okay? So what's the smallest and greatest number of minutes? Is 10 our smallest? What's our greatest? So how do we wanna scale this? By ones? By tens? What do you wanna start with? 0 and go up to 120? Is that what you wanted?
Well, it's going up by 10, we just didn't write all.
I did fill in the middle ones, okay? Okay, so now my scores, what's my minimum, my lowest score?
62.
And what's my highest? So how do we wanna scale our y-axis? By tens? You think that's gonna give us a good picture?
We do it by.
So you wanna go by fives over here?
Wait,
So-
it's gonna take us forever.
You wanna start with 10 though?
No.
What's my lowest number? So how about we start here at 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100.
That's what I.
Is that gonna work for us? Okay, so let's start plotting. So we got 30 and 80. We come over to 30, come up to 80. Right? 20 and 74. 60 and 92. 90 and 97. Oh. Let's see, where am I at here? 45 and 85. So here's 45. Come up to 85. 10 and 62. 30, 83. 75 and 90. 120 and 70. And 80 and 91. Okay, what's the first thing we see there? We have an outlier right there. So that doesn't fit our pattern. What kind of pattern do we have? Positive. Does it curve or does it generally go in a straight line?
It kind of curves.
Well, if you take the average. If you see a curve, it's generally gonna go either like this or like this. It'll start doing it very sharply. Okay? So when they ask you to do that, that's what you're gonna do. Now, another term we're gonna use is, are there any clusters? They're referring to anytime we have several points in one general area. And then there are any gaps. So we go and there's no points for quite a while. Okay, so we look for gaps, clusters, and outliers. Most important is probably your outliers because they don't fit your pattern. They are very easy to identify if you do your graph correctly. Okay, go ahead and open up your journals again.
How do you spell outliers? Is it
O-U-T-L-I-E-R-S.
I don't like it, but you spell liar L-I-A-R.
Yeah, if you're lying.
Well, I'm not.
On page 188 of your journals, you're going to do problem number 1 on your own and bring it up to me, and I'll give your homework assignment at that time.
what page?
Page 188. Number 1, parts A and B on your own on page 188. Once you're complete, bring it up to me, and we will hand out an assignment. Just number 1, parts A and B.
Oh, no, I don't want to be in
Okay, Tanner, you need to look at this again. That, you stand right there, pick it up. I know.
Oh, okay. He knows that. Let's get through. We'll go the other direction.
All right.
Yeah, Ben. Not supposed to say it out loud.
Let's go.
That's great. Should I dab?
Otherwise, you can look behind me. Behind me, not you.
Bro.
He has to videotape his class.
Positive linear.
Yikes.
34, 47.
It's on in your book.
It's already been 34 minutes?
Yep.
Wait, so, like,
Okay.
who's this gonna be shown to?
Positive slopes. Linear too. So
You'd probably get in trouble.
That's
If you say
fine.
positive linear, right, you just say positive linear. I didn't need Good point. Ma'am? Okay, it's linear, but what type of linear? Negative?
No, positive.
Excellent. Excellent.
Sweet dog.
Sweet dog.
Excuse me.
Linear, excellent.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I will now, but. I just.
What's the, remember, generally straight.
We just.
We don't have to connect the dots, and it doesn't have to be a straight line. Right.
Like, cause like, that's, like, after
Just take a straight line.
Yeah,
Kind of line
it's,
up.
oh,
And honestly, if you take the first dot and the second dot to a line, they all are within a certain range of the line. You know the other thing. Okay, that makes sense?
do we need graphs?
Yes, I got graphic paper up here. Excellent.
Nope.
Yes. Yes.
I caught myself counting. Accidentally.
I'm not worried about that. No, all I really wanted to say is possibly it goes on and it's linear. You had it going out, but you didn't say anything about getting it. Ready? Excellent.
Mass and accuracy was right.
Yes. 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 You fix it?
Yeah, sure.
Do you see where you made your mistake? That was the question.
Yeah.
Okay, so you understand.
You're welcome.
You find the year, go up, and then you go to the left.
Yeah.
Find, okay. But what if I said, in what year were there 25 people in the league? So how many? What year? Give me the answer. Thank you. Positive linear.